Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my next video. Today we have got another Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 Prestige class video for you. And today we are going to be talking about the Hunter of the Dead from the Complete Warrior. So, let's get into what we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to talk about what the Hunter of the Dead is, how you go about becoming one. We're going to talk about what you get as a Hunter of the Dead, and then we're finally going to talk about how good they are and how they might fit into a build. So let's get into it. Alright, so the Hunter of the Dead, well, they're an interesting bunch. They are typically a quiet loner that is very dedicated to their craft of hunting the undead. They despise the undead. They usually have a traumatic backstory about why they dislike the undead so much. They've had generally it would comes down to they had a run-in with an undead. In fact, that's sort of a requirement actually, and because of that, or maybe some other factors, they despise the undead and they dedicate their entire lives to destroying every undead that they come across. That is their life's work. And yeah, that's what the Hunter of the Undead is. So let's talk about how you become a Hunter of the Dead. I don't know why I keep saying undead. It's easy enough, but it's Hunter of the Dead is the actual class. Anyways, the requirements are: first, you have to be non-evil. Easy enough. That leaves 6 full alignments. Base attack bonus 5. Pretty simple, straightforward. Knowledge religion 5 ranks. Not a big deal. Able to turn undead. That gets a little bit tricky. That's going to mean you're going to have to take either a level of cleric or 4 levels of paladin, either or. There's probably a few other ways to get that, but those are by far the easiest. And then it has a special one, which I referred to a little bit earlier, and that is the Scar of Unlife. What that requires is, at some point in time, you would have had to have lost a level, had a level drained or an ability point drained by an undead. You could have restored it later, that's fine, but you would have had to have that happen at some point, and that is just the scar that you hold on to, and that's kind of the mark of the Hunter of the Dead. So yeah, those are the requirements. So let's talk about what you get. So it's got a D8 hit dice, not the best for a martial build, but it's not terrible. It has a good base attack bonus, has a good fortitude save, but a bad reflex and will save, which is a little unfortunate. And it gets spells for one. It has a small spell list. We'll talk about those here in a minute, but the spells are wisdom based, very much like a cleric, actually very much like a paladin. You do have to prepare your spells every day, just like a cleric would. You can't substitute for cure spells, although you do have all of them, at least all the up to 4th level ones, which is all you get for this class. But yeah, that's basically what they get. Is they have some wisdom-based spells to cast, and yeah, they know all the ones on the list. They just have to prepare them each day. It's a really small list, though. There's not that many spells. I'm actually going to list all of them later in the video. So what they get is Detect Undead that they can use at will. I got something in my eye bugging me. Anyways, they get Smite, and that's just like the spell. They get Smite Undead, which is very similar to a Paladin's Smite Evil, except for this is Wisdom based. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. It's originally usable once a day, but it will go up as they level up. And extra smiting will work on this. There is a little bit of ambiguity how extra smiting works if you got in as a paladin and have Smite Evil as well. Basically, there's 3 ways that you can interpret that. You can interpret it either as you have to pick which one you go with. That's the more strict version. The other version is that it applies to both, and that you basically get double the effect. And then the other one is kind of a mix of the two, and that is that it kind of the extra turning, not extra turning, extra smiting is kind of a separate pool, and then you can kind of pull from either or. But anyways, it does work with this. So yeah, you also get at third level, you get Spurn Death's Touch. That will let you add your wisdom to all your saving throws against undead. And if you're a paladin, if you got in with paladin, you're already adding all your charisma. And yes, that does include will, which already is adding wisdom. So you're effectively adding it twice. So that's kind of cool. As will is just wisdom plus space save. So you get that plus an extra wisdom. So that's kind of cool. Then you get at 5th level True Death. This is one of the best features that they have, and that is any undead that you kill with either your melee weapon or with a spell is permanently destroyed and can never rise again. So that's really nice. Like if you go after like a lich, you don't actually have to get the phylactery. You can just kill the lich and now he's gone. You could potentially work well against like any sort of necromancer that has a way of like once the undead die of like reviving their corpses. You could, well, if you kill them, then this corpse is not valid to be revived again. So that's really nice. You also get extra turning, which literally is just the extra turning feat. So 4 more uses of turn undead, which isn't bad. You get positive energy burst, which basically means that you can spend 2 turn undead attempts in order to cast, or in order to do a burst of energy, positive energy that will do level D6, so essentially 10 D6 damage to any undead that are within 20 feet of you. It's an okay ability. I mean, it's a standard action, so there's that, but it's okay. Especially if you've got a large number of undead, it's not a bad option, and likely it's a good use of your turn undead ability, since this actually doesn't advance your turn undead. It's a requirement for the class, but you don't actually advance it. So honestly, you're probably better off as a paladin getting into this that way, just because they don't have high levels of turn undead after 5 levels anyway. So now you're just only 2 down. You're just an effective 2nd level cleric. You're not very good at it, but you have all the attempts, and yeah, not too bad. Anyways, it's an okay ability. You get Sealed Life at 10th level. This is also one of their better ones. This makes it so that you suddenly become immune to losing levels from energy drain. So you take in you can't take negative levels anymore. You can, so you're no longer subject to that. You can still lose levels from dying. That still causes you to lose a level most of the time. I say most of the time because there are some more powerful spells that prevent that, like True Resurrection and Revivify. Revivify is not super powerful, but it is just as good as True Res. You just has a much shorter amount of time that someone can be dead before using that one. So yeah, and you can also lose it from experience draining. So if something drains your experience, then you can still lose levels that way, but not from level loss. Well, not from dying. Yeah. Yeah. You could also lose just levels. Just not energy drain. Not energy. Not yeah. That's basically what that is. Anyways, sorry about that. So let's talk about how good these guys are. So let's talk about their spells first. So their spells. Magic Stone, Magic Weapon, Cure Light Wounds, Hide from Undead, and Remove Fear are your first level spells. Nothing in that really stands out super well. Honestly, you're not going to get a whole lot of these anyways. You're probably going to get 2 or 3 by 10th level, like from bonus spells. And I'd say maybe dump them all in Cure Light Wounds, because the other ones aren't all that great. And having some healing isn't terrible for like emergencies. 2nd level, you got Bull Strength, Cure Moderate Wounds, Continual Flame, Dark Vision, Lesser Restoration, Remove Paralysis. Lesser Restoration, Remove Paralysis are pretty good. Continual Flame, you can just buy an Ever-Burning Torch. I mean, that's literally all that is. So yeah, the spells aren't great, but they're okay. 3rd level Cure Serious Wounds, Daylight, Halt Undead, Protection from Elements, Searing Light, Speak with Dead. There's a number of these that aren't bad. Searing Light seems like it might be interesting. Daylight can always be useful in the right situations. And then, of course, 4th level, this is where all the best ones are. Cure critical wounds, Death Ward, Disrupting Weapon, Freedom of Movement, Restoration. Freedom of Movement is a great one. Restoration, again, a great spell. Disrupting Weapon, pretty good. So you got a lot of... That's where all your best ones right there are at 4th level. Unfortunately, you're only going to likely have one of those, because you only get one at 10th level, and... I mean, you can get more from bonus spells, but you're going to need at least a +4 wisdom for that. So you're going to need at least an 18 wisdom. I don't know if you're going to have that. If you do, you just get one more spell of that level. So it is what it is. But how good is this prestige class? Well, if you're fighting undead, it's not bad, actually. If you're fighting a lot of undead, this is a pretty good prestige class, especially if you're fighting a lich. You can indeed take them out really easy. Or, if you're fighting a necromancer, again, you can take out their army and prevent them from bringing them back again, and just keep bringing them back over and over. So that's really nice that you have that ability. There's a number of nice things that this prestige class offers. Now, is it the greatest prestige class? No. If you're not fighting against undead, it's kind of meh. I mean, it could be better. It's not the worst prestige class. Like, you've got a fairly decent, solid build to you. You're not going to be horrible in combat. Like, you're going to be a decent, but it's not the best if you're not fighting the undead. This really should be, if you're going to play this, make sure your campaign focus is pretty heavy on that. Or maybe it doesn't, but you just like it, and hopefully you're just hoping your DM will throw more undead your way. That's something. Now, another big thing to note with this prestige class is it does not have a multi-classing note, and it is designed for paladins, which means if you go in with paladin, you can never go back into paladin after taking this prestige class. So you got to keep that in mind. You got to think, okay, do I just stick paladin out longer? I can get in after 5 levels, but do I take a few more so that I can go back, because I can't go back? Take it all the way to 10 and then go do 10 paladin, 10 this, and then once I hit epic, maybe do an epic version of this, which it would qualify for epic. There aren't any rules specifically written for this one, but there are rules on how to extrapolate that out. How good it would be is hard to say, but some of the stuff would definitely continue to stack. You would continue to most likely get more smites. That might be it, actually. Maybe some bonus feats. Hard to say. But yeah, that's basically what this gets. It's all right, but you got to keep in mind. Like I was saying, you got to keep in mind the fact that you're not going to be able to go back into paladin. That's really important. So if you do jump in after 5 levels of paladin, know you can't go back, and know that you're going to need to figure out, once you get these 10 levels, find another prestige class or something to pick up to help to help kind of move in the path that you're going on. And it's kind of hard to find one with perfect synergy. There's some that are okay, but it's really hard to find one that's exactly what you're going to want. But you can find something probably. Anyways, that's mostly all I have to say about this. It's an all right prestige class. If you're going up against a lot of undead, it's pretty good. If you're not, it's not terrible, but it's not great. You're definitely going to be underpowered if you're not going up against the undead. But yeah, you can definitely do some cool stuff. Like you can, if you're fighting an evil undead as a paladin in this, you can double smite them, smite evil and smite undead at the same time, and do massive damage in one strike. So that's definitely good. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of the Hunter of the Dead down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. Maybe subscribe to the channel for more awesome D&D 3.5 videos, because we do on every class, race, and prestige class in Dungeons & Dragons 3.5. Ring that notification bell so you never miss out on a video. And anyways, as always, I'm Mitch, and I'll be seeing you